Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nafula. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend that you subscribe. But if you've already subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching my videos. So today I'm going to do a video real quick. I know I spoke about hosting and then I did not address the affidavit of support, and I've had a lot of questions, people emailing me, people sending me questions, people putting comments on the comment section requesting for more information about affidavit of support, and I'm just going to explain it really quick. I'm just going to take it step by step because I understand that people who are not born in the United States might not understand this aspect as well as the people who are here, but I'm just going to try to explain it in a simplest form that I can. So, what is the affidavit of support and when do you need this? Like if you're a DV lottery winner, not all countries require affidavit of support, but then some countries, other than requiring you to have a host in the United States, they require you to have an affidavit of support, which is a sponsor. So let's start from the beginning. What is this document and what is it and why is it important? If you come to the United States and then you end up homeless or you end up with no food, the government works very hard, especially in the state that I am in, New York. It's called a freebie state, if you know what I mean. So in this state, they won't leave you on the streets. So they will try to provide like housing, or you can qualify for certain, programs that offer food. The bottom line is like the government doesn't want you to go hungry or homeless because you don't have money to support yourself. So why is this important? This brings us to being a public charge. So with the affidavit of support, pretty much you're proving to the US government that you're not going to be a public charge. And what is the public charge? That is what I just explained. You get here and then you're homeless and then it forces the government to take care of you. So the US don't like that. So if you're a DV lottery winner, they want you to prove before you get here that you'll be able to support yourself. But then you're in Africa. There's no way you're going to prove that unless you're super rich over there and you have money in the account and you can sponsor yourself. But then you have to understand that the cost of living in Africa and the cost of living in America is a little bit different. So you have to prove that you can support yourself in American dollars, which is not going to be cheap. So because most people cannot prove that they have enough money to support themselves here, then it brings us to the topic where you need a sponsor, which is an affidavit of support. And this affidavit of support is a person. So they have to prove that they're making money not only to support their own family, but also to support you. So first they have to prove that they can support their own family and also support you. What does that mean? It means that we have something called guidelines that we go by, which is poverty guidelines. Poverty guidelines, it has like a certain amount of income that a certain number of household has to make to actually support themselves. So maybe a family of one, you need to make for somebody to complete affidavit of support, they have to prove that they meet these poverty guidelines. So for income guidelines, just go on Google and type poverty guidelines or income guidelines or whatever, and then you'll have a bunch of stuff come up. And then you just go to the, USCIS.gov page, and then it has for affidavit of support, there's guidelines there. So once you click on it, it will bring you to this page here. And so you're gonna click the first one. You're not for Alaska, not for Hawaii, unless those apply to you. But then you click over here for the 48 states apart from Alaska and Hawaii. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna look at this income guidelines. So what you're looking at is the income guidelines. So you see somebody who makes 25,000 can support a family of two. Somebody who makes 32,000 can support a family of three. Somebody who makes 65,000 can support a family of 8. So, and then any additional person, then it's 6,725. So you'll add the 6,725 on the 65,900 here for the total to add one more person. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that the income guidelines are very low. So if somebody is looking for a sponsor because they can't make enough just pretty much they're not working at all, because to just sponsor one person you just need 25,000. Like literally, if you make minimum wage working full-time, you will make more than that. So somebody who's asking you to complete this form for their family, I don't know what they're doing, but literally the income guidelines are not bad at all. So if you make like 52, you can support up to 6 people. So it's not that bad. So usually for the green card lottery, they don't need your bank account. Usually if the US feels like you're going to be a public charge, then they just go ahead and ask you to bring the affidavit of support. And with the affidavit of support, I said you just need to do the I-134. Don't do the 864, because that's legally binding. Legally binding meaning if you complete affidavit of support for somebody who's petitioning for a family member, maybe marriage petition, any petition, maybe they're trying to bring their mother, their kids here, and they tell you, hey, you have a good job. Can you complete the I-864 for me? And I'll be a joint sponsor. You do that at your own risk. I say, if somebody tells you that, run as fast as you can. Why? When you come, this immigrant here, you already signed, you're financially responsible for them. So like, even if like you're a joint sponsor, it doesn't mean anything, because you're making more than the actual sponsor. You are the main sponsor. That's how it works. If, for example, this person comes here, maybe you signed for a total stranger. Maybe you signed for somebody's wife to come here, or somebody's mother to come here. And maybe they get admitted in the hospital and they accumulate a bill of 150,000 US dollars. Who do you think is financially responsible for that bill? Is the sponsor. That's why you need to be careful. Or maybe, for example, they don't like to work, and then they go to the government. They're like, hey, I can't work. The government gives them free housing, free food. Guess who's going to pay this money back to the government? Is the sponsor. Why, like, a lot of people, they're just like, oh, why don't you just want to provide sponsorship for family-based visas? It's not like you don't want to provide family-based visas. You don't want to be, you want to be responsible for strangers. Why? And the income guidelines, if somebody who's making like 40,000, I think they can support like 4 or 5 people, I think, something like that, for 40,000. So if you have a family member in the US trying to look for affidavit of support, unless they're disabled, number one, either disabled, or number 2, they're just lazy and they don't want to work. So they don't want to work, so they don't make the enough income, and they want to stick it to a stranger who works hard to file for them. No. Here, African people, we come, we're hardworking, go to work. Instead of coming to me asking for affidavit of support to bring your wife, go to work. That's all I can say. But then for the green card lottery winners, I do affidavit of support for them because it's the I-134. It's not legally binding. So with that, pretty much they just want to know, like, okay, this green card lottery winner, when they get here, at least they have somebody who's going to house them, give them food, give them this, give them that, give them that. So I have like sponsored some people, because some people in Africa, literally without knowing anybody here, they can't come here. So with the sponsorship, like if I have sponsor from Ghana, from Zimbabwe, from whatever, like Rumbi just got a stranger from Zimbabwe who gave her the affidavit of support because she didn't know anybody here. So there's some people who want to help people from back home. You're like, I'm a Kenyan, I want to help a Kenyan, I'm going to give them affidavit of support. So they come to America, and so that me, if they're from Bungoma, we can go back and develop our Bungoma. So that's the key. So that's why African people do the I-134 for the green card lottery winners only. That's the only thing. Like 134 is good. 864 family petition. If somebody asks you for sponsorship, ask them, is it for a green card lottery winner? If they say yes, go ahead and do it. If it's for other things, run. I'm telling you, run. And if you don't want to listen to me, complete that form, and then down the line, you'll be like, you know what? I wish I listened. So now, for right now, I'm not doing affidavit of support because I don't have sponsors. The ones I had, I gave everybody who went to the embassy. So they already got their visas. So I don't have any sponsors at this time. So that's why, like, on my website, I say, like, I'm not providing any affidavit of support at this time. Don't ask for affidavit of support. If you fill that form and you say you need affidavit of support, I'm not going to get back to you, because we are not doing affidavit of support. We're just doing exclusively hosting. Because affidavit of support too takes a lot of time. You connect these people, they start talking, and then some don't know how to fill that form. So I have to guide them. I'm like, this is what you put here. It takes a lot of time too. So I don't do it unless it's absolutely necessary. Have to prove that they meet these poverty guidelines. So if they're making, maybe they can support up to 8 people or 10 people, including their family members. So if they have like a wife and they have 3 children, that's already 5 people. So they can only sponsor other 5 people. So what does this mean? For somebody to support you, they have to really go out of their way. Why? If they're making 100,000 and maybe you can support up to 10 people, if they already supported 8 people and then a couple wins and then they decide to support these 2 people, then they've maxed out. So if they've already supported 10 people, so that their family member, if a family member of theirs wins next year, they cannot support them because they added these 2 people, and which is considered a household. As much as maybe they will not host you at their house, as much as you'll be on your own, still it shows that they have 10 people that they are supporting, regardless of whether you live with them or not. For somebody to provide an affidavit of support for you, they have to know you really well. And like I said, I can't provide, like I'm providing some affidavit of support, but a lot of the affidavit of support, I'm not providing it. So other people are providing the affidavit of support. And as much as other people are providing it, it's very competitive and very limited. Then if you're providing an affidavit of support for like a 37-year-old who lives with their parents, has never had an attempt of getting a job in Kenya, and then you're bringing them here, dude, they will not get a job here. If they were not working hard in Africa, they will not work hard here. So that kind of person has a high chance of actually depending on the government. Hope you're following me really well from the beginning. Remember when I said that if you do not, like if you end up homeless, the government picks up the slack and pays for your house and pays for your food? So if you supported somebody who's like this 37-year-old with no motivation to work, and they come here, they start depending on the government, guess what? The government can sue or follow that somebody who promised they will support this guy and get their money back. So if I support you, you come here and you're super lazy, you're not motivated to do anything, and you decide to apply to this public assistance and you get this money, they can come after me to pay the money back. So that's why a lot of people do not want to provide affidavit of support for people who are not ambitious, because you know this person can really get you into trouble, because if they use the government funding, then I don't want to be paying back money that you use as a stranger and I don't know who you are. If you're a family member, I'll be like, you know what, is a family member, you know, I might as well support them. But if you're a stranger, a lot of people are not willing to do that. When you have a family-sponsored affidavit of support, that's I-864, is a different form. That's legally binding. If you bring a wife, your child here, and they come here and they divorce you, you have to support them for 10 years or until they become citizens. Literally, you can bring your wife here or bring your husband. And then if they divorce you after 2 years and move out, if they use government money or whatever, even if they don't use government money, they can take you to court and they will be deducting money from your paycheck to give this person here, because it's legally binding. You said you're going to support them as a spouse or your child or your mother. So that's legally binding. With the I-134 is different. As much as it is legal, is not as much legally binding as the other I-864. So with the I-134, you're not specific. You can just be like, you know, I can support them with food, I can support them. You can just put something there. But as long as you're doing that, or even if you're not doing that, a lot of states, they don't have enough funding, or maybe they have other more serious problems that they won't focus on following to enforce the I-134 to people who are breaking it. So if I support you as an I-134, as much as, you know, they can come after me, they will not be as legally binding as the person who supported the same, offered the same affidavit of support as an I-864. I don't know if I'm confusing you guys, but these are, you can go online and check the two forms. It's both affidavit of support, both of them are for green card people, but they have different legal implications. So that's why people are more lenient to provide the I-134 form or fill that form for you. Who completes this form? This form has to be completed by somebody who is in the United States and who files taxes. So if you have a member here who evades filing taxes, you're not going to get them to complete it for you because it's not going to be acceptable. So one, they have to be currently in the United States, they have to be paying taxes. They have to have formal identification. So if you have a relative here who came here and they are staying here chini ya maji, they don't have legal paperwork, they cannot do it for you. So you have to have somebody who's legally in the United States, makes a certain amount of money, that can prove poverty guidelines and can provide an identity, either the U.S. citizen or legal residence. They can provide a form of identification to the U.S. government when they complete this form.